All right, so it looks like another interesting day. A little bit of positivity in the market. We're going to take a look and see. Need to stop this thing from bouncing around here. And close that out. I need to post something on Twitter. We just had a sell on VTR. Sold VTR. It's like a profit of, what was it, 3.8%. So that's 7 sells so far today. We have 4 buys. Looks like our dividends are 185.51. We're just trying to get our it's hard to adjust some of this stuff. Just get used to it, I guess. Yeah, so we just keep doing what we're doing. We're not doing anything special. We're just following the rules. I don't have any cool music in the background, do I? That's all right. I need to get this font size down a little bit. Yeah, so we're just waiting on other stuff to hit. Interesting day. We're going to put a, what do you call it? All the Bitcoiners, crypto traders, man, they're struggling right now. Everybody's, you're either having to risk too much and it's down low, when the volatility goes down, you obviously either have to put more money into it or just wait. I choose to wait. I'm not going to take any losses. I'm not going to overextend a small account. You buy 200,000 worth of Bitcoin here, that would be a bet. You're just betting that it's going to go up. I'm not into that. You make 200,000 if you just pay attention to what you're doing and stay small, but never sell at a loss. That's the trick. Yeah, this is what I was listening to earlier. I like this stuff. Perfect. We're going to draw some of the notes. But it's pretty cool. I'll turn the volume down on mine so it's not reverbing so bad in there. But yeah, that's what it's all about. we're just going to switch over here to Mosaic. This is all you have to do at the end of the day. The market can be closed, okay? But this system, you don't have to be sitting here looking at this all friggin' day. I don't. I mean, why should you? You know, it's called an investment portfolio. It's not a, I have to sit behind my computer all friggin' day long to try to make a buck. What you're trying to do is grow your account in the best way without taking any losses. That's what our game is. Okay, so we've got a alert here of BMY. It could be an old alert. Let me take a look at the, we're posting the scan this week for free so people can take a look at it. We don't see BMY there, but we're just going to look and make sure that it's not in the portfolio. I don't think it is. I think we got out somewhere up here a couple weeks ago. Let's take a look at the other account. I'll go on to Mosaic, a little better, easier to look at the charts here. BMY, just make sure. Yeah, so we disregard that one. It's just an old alert. We don't even care why the alert was put in there. This is one that we bought earlier today. You can see it's down. We don't care. It's just part of the system. We buy for certain reasons. It's on the scan for a reason. We don't give that information away. That's the only stuff that it's proprietary. Everything else will show you how to manage money, and you can choose to do it your way, or you can, you know, take our advice and see if you can get through an entire year without taking any losses. I don't know if you're paying attention to this, but one of the biggest things that we talk about is not taking losses. Right now we're at 361 days. We're coming up on 1 year with no losses in this account. Okay, well actually in these three portfolios. And we manage, I want to say it's 17 or 18, but we don't show those because they're proprietary portfolios, and we're not allowed to show them for obvious reasons. But these are just kind of educational ones. We keep the amounts low. I mean, I think total on all three of these accounts is 120,000. It's enough to bring in 15 to 25% per year. Now with this slowdown at the top here, I think, what was it last month? Let's go to that one scene. Yeah, you can see last month here we pulled in 1.2, is that right? Yeah, 1.23%. So that's, if you work it out, it comes to about 14.74 for the year. And let's see, at 4.9 years, you just use a rule of 72. So whatever your percentage is, just that you get, just divide it into 72, and that'll give you how many years? Approximation, you know, and that's just straight. That's not, we're not talking about, oh, God, where am I losing my mind here? Now you know what I'm talking about. Jeez, just ate a bunch of candy. I'm all screwed up now. Compounded. It's not compounded. So that's just 14.74. Just if you did the same thing every month. Okay, and we like to look at it that way because, I mean, we can go back and look at some of the prior months, and you will see substantial gains, 15, 18, 22%, but we don't take any losses. We're just taking a quick look over here at the cryptos. Looks like they tend to all follow one another, you know, if it's Bitcoin's going down. Now there are ones in here, like this XTZ. It seemed to have a little mind of its own. Get a little bit in there as well. Litecoin, it's not doing anything special. So it's not really on our radar until it starts moving. And it really hasn't moved in, well, at least a week. So yeah, we like to concentrate on things that are just constantly making us money. Now we are making money in there, just it's really, really slow. But you just we have specifics that we go by, and we stick to them. We stick to the rules. That way we don't get hurt. I mean, it could sit in this range for the next 2 years. We don't know. And there goes old Fang. That's a pretty good staple in the portfolio. It had a good, it's up like $6. Yeah, $6.32 today. It's strong. A little ways to go to hit. It seems like that's a popular area to get out at, but we're already in. You know, see, we already had this in from what, 3 weeks ago? You know, almost a month ago. So if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, we'll just sit there and collect those dividends. 40 cents a quarter. It ain't much because we only have one, but 40 cents, multiply that by 1,000, that's $40. You have to start thinking numbers, people. But yeah, GSBC. Banks seem to be just like flatline because they really don't know what's going on. Or at least the people investing in them don't know what's going on. And make no mistake, it's you and me do not move these markets. These are institutions and hedge funds that move these pricing. So obviously on the way down, we will acquire quite a few more shares, probably double our accounts, right? So, I mean, if we're making, what do we make on that? Scene 3. Oh, it's Bitcoin from last week. So if we're making about, let's just say on average 500 to 600 a month, it's about three, what is that? 600, 500 times 12 is 6,000 to 9,000, right? Or 7,200, yeah. So 6,000 to 7,200 per year. And we can double that, right? When the market's coming down, if we can have twice as many of these shares in each one of these, what happens to that value? It doubles, right? So if we come down that 50%, now we're double. If we come down to the 100% retracement, now we're triple. Okay, and instead of making 6,000, you're making, what would that be? 18,000 in dividends, and at a lower price. This is the way you do it. It's a secret. Figured it out years ago. Just trying to spread it around now. Nobody wants to know about it. Everybody thinks it's some kind of joke. The wise man will pick up on this, because I'm not going to show this for forever. I figure once I get about maybe 100, 200 people that are involved and want to learn this, that's it. I'm done teaching it. I've done my part. I passed it on. It's called karma. You better learn it. If you're still swinging for the fences, you'll be sorely disappointed, is all I can say. You might get lucky on one, make 5,000 here, make 5,000 1 year. But there'll always be that one that you make the biggest mistake on because you got some great news from somebody. And then, boy, it's going to tap you hard. You'll be like, man, it's fixed. Ain't nothing fixed about it. Mostly it's people's stupidity that gets them. Stupidity and greed. But that's okay. So we've got some limits sitting in there. That one we can actually close out and put another, where's that at? Put another alert in there. That one's a good ways away. Let's take that one out of there so we don't have to look at it anymore. It's too far away. That one's still close enough. We'll leave it. That one's at the 50% line, but yeah, it's a ways away, but that one's not really paying that great a dividend. Trailing stop still working there. ACB, that one's a good, no, 3, that's only $4 away. It could come down and smack it. We don't want to miss it, that's the key. Right? So it's all right to leave them on if you want to, but be aware that anytime that you put an order in like that, they take that, whatever, in this case it would be what, 3 shares, so they're going to take 150 out of your cash account and just sit there and hold it to fill that position. So if you leave them and you get lazy, you might need to close some of those out. Like see, it came down back here in March, came close, but then it went back up. It never did hit it. Right, we don't chase it, we don't care, but the whole time we've been collecting those dividends. We ended up getting in 3 more months of dividends. There's only 2 things that are going to happen. We're either going to fill, buy some more, or we're going to sell. Once that goes 50%, our next, our average cost is going to be somewhere here in the middle, around 55, right? Then all we're going to do, whatever the distance is here, that's going to be your dividend amount. And you keep an eye on that, right? Say, if this changes, let's say the dividend amount goes down, we move our sell limit down. It's that simple. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. I'm sure there's some people trying to figure out what I'm doing. They're going to overthink it. They're going to try to come up with their own, try to sell some package to somebody. They're not going to have any clue. Well, what was he doing? Like, well, I'm showing you what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything special here. Oh, that's the one we just closed out. Yeah, we'll close that one out too. Yeah, so not too bad. The SLG we closed out. Well, that Han wants to go higher, doesn't it? That sucker was down. We bought it back here somewhere. And boy, it came down. Got all the way down, 17, almost 20 bucks. And now it's back up here. Scans don't hurt us, that's for sure. Some you hit pretty quick, others just takes time. This BP was never on the scan. This is an old, what was that, an options trade? It went against us. But we've never been collecting dividends for years on it. Turn that music down a little, shoot, it's like blowing me out of here. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's find one that's close. Oil company, or oil stock, Murphy Oil took off today. It's $1.72. Not bad. Maxed out, max shares on that one. Well, it's been in the portfolio a while. It's hard to keep stocks in the portfolio with this system. That's why we're constantly, you can be more aggressive, but we choose to be very conservative because we don't want to, we know that we're at the, possible the end of the cycle. So we want to make sure that, whatever money's going into the market, we don't get trapped with too much capital at the top. That's the whole key. That's why we have a bunch of cash, excess liquidity right now, sitting at $20,000. I mean, that's pretty substantial. That's about half this one portfolio. So, on the way down, obviously you can buy things cheaper, right? So we're going to have a lot of shares down low, collecting a lot of dividends when this thing starts to go down. And even the ones that are down, let's take a look at, which one is that, TLT? Here's a good example. Not all things are winners, right? And some get away for whatever reason, but you hold them. But the nice thing is we're not upside down. The heck is TLT? Yeah, there's TLT right there. It doesn't move much, right? So you see this one's down, but when it comes back up on the scan, we have 6 shares, right? We've already done the DCT cycle, so now what we're waiting for is to reinitiate off the scan. Once the scan reinitiates, then we'll do our same thing, and if we're still below, we'll reinitiate the 50% level, and it could be as minor as 133 to this point right here, so we'd have a pullback to here. But that another 3 will bring this down probably around the 147 mark, right? We just move this. We're constantly following our mean. That's what we're looking for. Every time we reestablish a position. And max shares on this, I don't remember. Let's take a look on TLT. Shows up on this chart. Yeah, so 25. So we'd have to be 3. So that'd be a third. So at one time, I think we were buying 2. So when you see it kind of slowing down, it's as though the max shares increase. So volatility plays a lot in the decision making. But I'll keep posting it until people get used to it and understand, like, okay, I'm going to throw my old system at it, throw all those charts at it, throw all this garbage at it, and all these indicators and everything. I want to learn something new. It'd be nice to see. I think a lot of my stuff is being blocked, to be honest with you. Got about 5 minutes left. Nothing special going on. Let's rearrange these. See if we can get them. Yeah. So Fang at the top. KRC. Oh, I'd already busted out of that. Fang's pretty darn close. Well, we only got 5 minutes. Maybe. Never know. PSB. Look at that Fang again. Yeah. BLO. ETR. We just picked that up today. No. Or when did we pick that up? Oh, we sold that on another account. So we got it in another one. See, they come in different weeks, I guess. That's the way it has to be, because we would never buy twice. Now, what we do is when you see a CEF show up on the scan, like RMI was the only one that was on the scan this week, we would buy those on every portfolio that we manage. Automatic. We don't even question it. We just buy it. It's because the dividends, the yield is so high on them, and you know that it's not going to go anywhere. So it's guaranteed cash, for as long as they're going to pay it. And like you say, rule of 72. Coinbase just floating around. Looking at the hourly chart here. Yeah, it's just slipping down a little bit since yesterday. It's not doing anything special. But we figured that would probably happen for at least a little while. If the market eventually takes a dump, I assume, well, I don't know. Nobody knows, but I would assume that Bitcoin would probably follow it. And all the other cryptos as well. So everybody that's in right now, all you do is hold. Once I'm at my limit for what I want to put in, because I've already made my money. I mean, I'm just, I'm going to stick in it, but I'm not going to, continue to throw good money after bad. I'll wait for, another, what you would call a so-called bottom. I don't like a lot of this terminology, but it's the only thing you can really use to describe what's actually happening. I mean, they're going to call this a bottom, and usually that's where you get a bunch of interest, and people like listen to the gurus. So what do? They start loading up with whatever. Somebody might be buying $50 or somebody buying 1,000. You ever look at some of the transactions? I mean, they're all 0.000 something. So there's a lot of small investors trying to make money off of this, but they need big moves. The big investors, they don't need a big move. They just need a certain amount to come in, and they cash out. And it's just easy for them to pull money out of the pockets of the uninitiated. So beware. Don't be farting around with the coins if you don't understand risk. Shoot me a line. I'll try to explain it best I can to you. If you know your risk, if you got $10,000, you ain't got a lot of money. So don't think that you're going to turn that 10,000 into 400 million in 2 weeks off Bitcoin. I mean, anything's possible, right? But the chances are you're going to be looking at a real flat market for a long time. And heck, it could go straight up. But what's happening right now is the big boys, they start running it up and they get it rolling, right? And, well, running it up, it's like pushing a thing down a hill, pushing a ball down a hill. It starts to pick up momentum. And so that price starts rising, and they're just cashing out. Everybody's trying to buy in at the last second, thinking, "Oh, it's going, it's going, it's going," and you have to be smart. You can make some money off of it, and you don't have to put a lot in it. 10,000, you just threw it in there right now. That's called a bet. 10,000 to a billionaire is like $1 to you or $10 to you. So it's all about scale. Don't make the mistake of playing big. I try to tell this to everybody that I've coached. Do not make big bets. If you make big bets, you're going to lose big. Everybody wants to go into the casino and say, yeah, okay, I'm going to roll those dice. I'm going to put $50 on the number 7. You know what your odds are, right? 17%. Don't mess around with that shit. You got a 50-50 bet going in the market. The problem is your 10,000, if you want to make 400 million out of it, it's got to make a move, right? Because you're only doing 30,000, you're doing less than 0.3. Is that right? Let me just look at that. You had 10,000. So you got 10,000 divided by 36,041. Yeah, just less than 3, less than 30% of Bitcoin. So what does it got to move? If it moves $1,000, right? What do you make? If it moves $1,000, multiply that by 1,000, make $277. So now you start to see my point. You're only buying fractions. That 10,000 can evaporate real quick. And we're against you too. And then what are you going to do? Well, I'm only down $277. And so, well, that's right. Well, how are you going to make your position better? We take a little different approach. We like to look at each transaction as its own transaction. We earmark everything. So if we buy at 100, right? Let's say we bought at 36,000 and we only did 1%, so we'd have $360 invested. We want to make 10% or 36 bucks on that one transaction. Okay, so what? It drops down to 35. We buy another one at 35. I'm just using this as an example. That's not exactly what we do, but I'm just saying you buy another point, or 1%, which would be $350 worth. You're looking for a 10% gain, $335 on $350 investment. You can do 10%, 10 times, that's 100%. As long as the money's fairly equal, it's going to be in and around there. But it's a lot easier when you start teaching each transaction as its own. Now, when you start talking investing, we're looking at things a little different. We're trying to make occurrences happen a little faster. We don't know if the money is going to go back up. Your stock market, its volatility is like very low in comparison to something like cryptos. Now you can see how the cryptos have really squashed down. So you got two things you can do. You just sit out of the market and wait, and you still play with your same scale, right? You have to have a plan on when you're going to get in and when you're going to get out. So profit targets and entry targets. It's that simple. And it really comes down to, your risk profile, which you're willing to. We don't want to lose anything, right? So we want to keep the money, whatever we have in Bitcoin and any of the cryptos. We don't want that going anywhere, because let's say 5 years from now, Bitcoin's up to 200,000. Well, we've sat on this stuff. It's not costing us anything because we've been in it since 2013, buying and selling. We're not worried about what happens. Okay, if we can make 200, 300, 400% on our money, right? We'll do the exact same thing when it starts to come down again in the future. We just keep doing that. Meanwhile, we still have cash, and we can take that cash and invest it. If it takes 5 years, maybe we double our money, 30%. Who knows? But you can't take losses. That's the thing. If you've been brainwashed to think, well, it's normal to take losses in the market, then you're never going to make it. You'll always be wondering. You'll always be taking more risk than you should because you see that you're not making any money. But that's it for today. Hopefully that got through to some people. If not, we'll be back on again to explain it a little more until somebody gets it.